Hello everyone, my name is Chau. I use she, her, hers pronoun. I'm currently a second year student at PCC and a student leader at Sylvania Multicultural Center. First, I want to thank you all for your interest in my presentation, and I hope everyone is doing well during this chaotic time. Okay, let's wait no longer and dive into the topic of today's presentation. Studies show that race is the most significant predictor of a person living near contaminated air, water, and soil. Therefore, I would like to give you a brief information on environmental racism. First, I would like you to take a minute to think of as many adjectives to describe personality as possible. I bet the adjective clean is not in the list of words that you just thought of. However, on the day Biden officially filed the paperwork to launch his presidential campaign, Biden complimented his fellow candidate Barack Obama as, you got the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. That's a storybook, man. And of course, I just made up what Obama thought in his mind. There's no way I could know. Anyway, it's not without cause that people of color are related to not clean or dirty. There's a history behind it. POC were constantly linked to dirtiness, and therefore some people might think it's normal if the area that POC lives in is polluted or contaminated. Next, I'll show you a small piece of history related to POC and how they were connected to not clean. And here is an advertisement around 1884. This is a marketing campaign of a soap brand called Ivory Soap. It targeted indigenous people, stating they are dirty and, of course, uncivilized, and that this soap will clean them and shed light on them. And this is a poem made by Uncle Sam. I will be wise, and thus the Indians civilized. Instead of guns that kill a mile, tobacco, lead, and liquor vile. Instead of serving out a meal or sending agents out to steal, I'll give domestic art to teach, a cake of ivory soap to each. Before it flies, the guilty stand, the grease and dirt no more remain. It would change their nature day by day, and wash their darkest blots away. They'll turn their bows into fishing rods, and bury hatchets under sods. In wisdom and in worth increase, and ever smoke the pipe of peace. For ignorance can never cope with such a foe as ivory soap. And what I find the most funny about this is that they even make it a series with following details and results. This is what happened after the native people received the soap and cleaned themselves. Now they're reclaimed. To peaceful arts unreconciled, to our blankets smeared grease and stains, from buffalo meats and settlers' vans. Through summer's dust and heat's content, from moon to moon unwashed we went. But ivory soap came like a ray of light across our darkened way. And now we are civil, kind, and good, and keep the laws as people should. We wear our line, lawn, and lace, as well as folks with paler face. And now I take, wherever I go, this cake of ivory soap to show what civilized my squaw and me, and made us clean and fair to see. And as far as I know, until this day, this brand, ivory soap brand, is still available in the market. I must say, what an unfortunate. I think so first, understand what is environmental racism, we should first know the concept of environmental justice. Environmental justice is the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people regardless of race, color, national origin, or income. Environmental justice includes identifying and addressing disproportionately high and adverse effects on minority or low-income populations, and the equitable distribution of benefits and burdens on the project. Here, we can see the difference between equality and equity. Equality basically means fairness, meaning that everyone is given the exact same treatment, opportunity, resources, regardless of their background, history, or life situation. But as we see here, that is not enough. Whereas equity means providing people with opportunity, treatment according to their needs and real conditions. In the words of Paula Dressel, the route to achieve equity will not be accomplished through treating everyone equally. It will be achieved by treating everyone just according to their circumstances. Now, dig deeper into the definition of environmental racism. Benjamin Davis, a prominent African American civil rights leader, noted that racial discrimination is in environmental policy making and enforcement of regulations and laws, and deliberate targeting on communities of color for toxic waste facilities, the official sanctioning of the life-threatening presence of poisons and pollutants in our communities, and the history of excluding people of color from leadership of the ecology movements. So what happened that made environmental racism an issue that needs to be attended on? Now, I'll show you some significant examples. In the video I showed you earlier, they gave a quick glimpse of the water issue in Flint, Michigan. So I want to spend more time looking into it. Although the whole issue was made public around 2014, the underlying problems had taken place years before, when African American migrants came to Flint to work at General Motors plants. It had two neighborhoods where Black people could live, and it was very explicitly they were denied access to other homes. Once there were fair housing laws and school desegregation laws that broke down the system, Flint's population started to decline, as a lot of these white middle class and upper class folks left. Now, Flint has half of the population than it used to. Hence, residents are expected to pay to support a water system meant to serve twice as many. And then in April 2014, Flint officials decided to switch the water supply system from Detroit to Flint River, stating it was a cost-saving move. And then in January 12, 2015, Detroit's offer to reconnect the city to its water system and waive the $4 million reconnection fee. However, the offer was declined by Flint officials. was claimed that the increase in cost to use Detroit's water would not be in the best interest of a city or its water users. And then in January 21st, 2015, the first City Hall meeting was held to address the water issue. Residents brought their tap water to show state officials as evidence. Despite the obvious indication, officials maintained that the water is safe. And I really don't understand how this is safe to them. And in spite that, saying that lead level didn't meet public treatment requirements and that water is safe, filtered water was provided to government employees in Flint State Office Building. However, all that was just a good sounding excuses, because the action level for lead is 15 parts per billion in more than 10% of the sample, whereas the safe level is 0%. Virginia Tech found that 17% of the water samples from Flint are above 15 parts per billion. And then on March 23rd, 2015, members of Flint City Council voted 7-1 to reconnect Flint to Detroit water system. Officials dismissed the vote and once again stated that there is no difference between Flint's water and Detroit's water, despite the evidence to the contrary. So this is the evidence. Virginia Tech researchers concluded that water from Flint is 19 times more corrosive than Detroit's, and thus more apt to leach lead from plumbing. Corrosion in water pipes is the main cause of this crisis. And as we see here, the MDEQ dismisses the findings of Virginia Tech. And then on October 1st, 2015, an emergency petition was filed to seek assistance from the EPA, yet there was no action from the EPA. And then in 2017, a report by the Michigan Civil Rights Commission asserted that deeply embedded institutional, systemic, and historical racism played a fundamental role in causing and maintaining the water crisis in Flint. And this is such a prominent issue. This is a really, really brief timeline that I can give you. I think there is a whole documentary on this issue on Netflix. So, wrap it up. And next I will show you an example that I find really, really ironic. That's why I put it on here. Several years back, there was a phenomenon known as a giant rubber duck. The artwork was created by a Netherlands artist with the notion that the rubber duck knows no frontiers, doesn't discriminate people, and doesn't have a political connotation. The idea was great, but the reality was not so alike. The second picture is the playground in a town in Louisiana, where children have to play near a chemical plant producing polyvinyl chloride, a main component to make up rubber duck. The association between race and polluted areas is no coincidence. Studies found that non-white communities had been treated unequally through years. In 1992, staff writers from the National Law Journal uncovered glaring inequities in the way the federal EPA enforces its laws. It was stated, there is a racial divide in the way the US government cleans up toxic waste sites and punishes polluters. White communities see faster action, better results, and stiffer penalties than communities where blacks, Hispanics, and other minorities live. This unequal protection often occurs whether the community is wealthy or poor. Later on, the National Law Journal study supplements the finding of earlier studies and reinforces what many grassroots leaders have been saying all along, saying that not only are people of color differently impacted by industrial pollution, they also can expect it differently treatment from the government. To this day, I've heard plenty of misconceptions that because lower income is associated with race and lower income is associated with inequitable environmental treatment. Therefore, race and environmental issues are associated. Though this logic sounds plausible, it's wrong. In a multivariate analysis with the race and socio-economic variables separately grouped, race continues to be a significant predictor of communities who are most affected by environmental issues. So these are all dark to talk about. I will not let you go with that negativity. Yes, environmental racism is real and is still happening. However, activists have also come a long way to change legislation. Next, I'll show you a brief environmental justice timeline to see what has been done. So, in 1990, EPA established Environmental Equity Work Group with the mission to address the allegation that racial minority and low-income populations bear a higher environmental risk burden than the general population. And then in 1991, the first National People of Color Environmental Leadership Summit was held. During that meeting, 17 principles were adopted as a comprehensive platform for a national and for a national and international movement of all people. And this is a photograph during that day. In November 1992, Office of Environmental Equity was was established. It is now called Office of Environmental Justice, OEJ, I mean. And then in 1993, National Environmental Justice Advisory Council was created with the mission to hold public meetings on environmental justice issues across the nation. Then in 1999, the National Black Environmental Justice Network convened an emergency meeting against toxic terror in New Orleans. In 2002, the second EJ Summit was held in Washington, D.C. And then in 2011, EJ Plan for 2014 was released, acting as a roadmap to assist EPA in integrating environmental justice into all of the agency's programs, policies, and activities. And then in 2015, EJSCREEN was released. It is a tool that helps users identify minority and/or low-income populations, potential environmental quality issues, a combination of environmental and demographic indicators that is greater than usual, and other factors that may be of interest too. So on a closing note, I want to leave you with this quote. The color of your skin or the thickness of your wallet shouldn't determine your ability to breathe clean air. Once again, thank you so much for your interest to my presentation, and thank you for sticking with me till the end. And if you ever need these materials, I will always be happy to share it with you. Thank you so much.